I'm Hal, the VVS commentator bot. Let's do this.
I'm Hal's co-commentator. Can't wait.
Sabo is getting to grips with the Mazda MX5 Cup in this practice session. Nigel Walters is on their first practice flying lap. Tom posted a 2:14.472 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? David Constable Berry is in Bentley Straight. It's a lovely day for racing here at Snetterton 300 as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Sabo is getting to grips with the Mazda MX5 Cup in this practice session. There are just over 45 minutes left in this practice session. Daniel Coxis is on their practice outlap. Greg posted 2:11.619 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? It's a lovely day for racing here at Snetterton 300 as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Greg Sabo has a best lap time of 2:11.619. With just 42 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Daniel Coxis is on their first practice flying lap. Bart van der Sunde is on their practice out lap. There are just over 40 minutes left in this practice session. There are just over 40 minutes left in this practice session. Tom O'Callaghan has a best lap time of 2:13.281. Daniel Coxis is in Bentley Straight. Van der Sunday is getting to grips with the Mazda MX5 Cup in this practice session. Sabo posted 2:10.843 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Nigel Waters has a best lap time of 2:09.879. With just 36 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. There are just over 35 minutes left in this practice session. There are just over 35 minutes left in this practice session. Greg posted a 2:10.843 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Nigel has a best lap time of 2:09.879. Bart van der Sande has a best lap time of 209.244. With just 32 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Marcus posted a 2:10.442 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? It's a lovely day for racing here at Snetterton 300 as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Coxis has a best lap time of 2:10.594. There are just over 30 minutes left in this practice session. McFarquhar is on their practice out lap. Dominic Fovag is on their first practice flying lap. It's a lovely day for racing here at Snetterton 300 as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. O'Callaghan posted 2:13.945 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Marcus Singendonk has a best lap time of 2:10.442. Nigel posted a 2:09.838 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? With just 26 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. There are just over 25 minutes left in this practice session. There are just over 25 minutes left in this practice session. David has a best lap time of 2:09.332. Fovag has a best lap time of 2:09.198. Phil Bodkin is on their practice outlap. Cox has posted 209.967 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Marcus posted a 211.674 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? With just 21 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. There are just over 20 minutes left in this practice session. There are just over 20 minutes left in this practice session. Van der Sande has a best lap time of 2:08.326. Tom O'Callaghan posted 2:16.473 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? It's a lovely day for racing here at Snetterton 300 as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Daniel Coxis has a best lap time of 2:09.502. Phil Bodkin is on their practice outlap. With just 16 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Greg Sabo has a best lap time of 2:09.923. Dominic posted a 2:08.823 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? There are just over 15 minutes left in this practice session. There are just over 15 minutes left in this practice session. Tim Weller has a best lap time of 2:09.175. Phil Bodkin is in Palmer. It's a lovely day for racing here at Snetterton 300 as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. With just 12 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Nigel Waters has a best lap time of 2:09.178. Get ready for some high-octane action as the drivers take on the challenge of qualifying at Snetterton 300.
Strap in, folks, because we're in for a wild ride.
Nigel Walters is on their outlap.
It's all about finding that balance between staying calm and focused while also pushing the limits.
You can feel the tension building. Walters is out on track and getting ready to push for their qualifying time.
This is the moment they've been preparing for. Let's see if they can execute.
The adrenaline is pumping. David Constable-Berry is on their outlap, warming up the tyres and getting ready to put in a fast lap time. It looks like Tom O'Callaghan is getting ready to make their move. They're taking their time to warm up those tyres and get everything just right.
Patience is key in these early moments, Hal. But I have a feeling Tom O'Callaghan is going to make it count.
It's all about strategy in these early moments. James Allen is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run and get everything just right.
These are the moments that really matter. Let's see if James Allen can deliver.
This is where the mental game comes. As Lord Farquhar completes their outlap, they will be HPOING. They've given themselves enough space on track to fully attack for their first flying lap. Matt crosses the start-finish line at the end of their outlap. Martin Moll has positioned themselves well in second during qualifying. The challenge now is to assess their competitor. That's the outlap done for Moll. They'll now look to focus on their first flying lap. A solid qualifying performance by Daniel Coxis, positioning them in fourth at the moment. The question now is whether they can make further progress and challenge the frontrunners. It's an impressive showing by Singendonk, currently in 9th. They've showcased their talent, but will they be able to find those crucial extra tenths of a second to climb higher? As Singendonk completes their outlap, they will be HPOING. They have given themselves enough space on track to fully attack for their first flying lap. It's been a challenging day for Martin in qualifying. They currently sit in 11th position, which is not reflective of their true potential. With the session nearing its end, they'll need to push hard and extract every ounce of performance to improve their result.
You're spot on, Hal. Martin has had a tough time in this qualifying session, but they shouldn't be counted out just yet. With their experience and the support of their team, they might find the extra speed needed to move up the grid.
Not the ideal start for Lord Farquhar in this qualifying session. Currently in 12th position, they'll be eager to put together a strong final lap to improve their standing. The pressure is on and they'll need to deliver their best performance. Mack has completed their outlap. Disappointing performance from Martin Mol in this qualifying session. Currently in 13th position, they'll need to dig deep and find some extra speed to climb up the leaderboard. Martin Mol crosses the start-finish line at the end of their outlap. It hasn't been the best qualifying session for Greg Sabo so far. They find themselves in 14th position, which is not where they had hoped to be. However, there's still time left on the clock and they have the opportunity to make improvements. It's been a struggle for Greg Sabo in qualifying. As of now, they find themselves in 14th position, which is well below their expectations. However, motorsport is unpredictable, and there's still an opportunity for them to shine and move up the grid.
Spot-on analysis, Hal. It's been a difficult qualifying session for Greg Sabo, but they shouldn't lose hope just yet. They have the talent and determination to make a comeback, and it'll be exciting to see how they respond to this adversity.
Welcome to Great Britain, where the sun is shining and the engines are revving for today's race at Snetterton 300.
You can feel the excitement building in the air. This is going to be a great race, and I'm looking forward to seeing the drivers push themselves to the limit on this challenging track.
Starting from pole position is the best possible outcome for Mac Farquhar.
But they can't get cocky. This is virtual velocity and anything can happen.
James Allen has qualified second. The third place on the grid belongs to Bart van der Sande, a driver with plenty of experience.
What can they do with that Mazda MX5 Cup from here?
Starting from the fourth position on the grid, we have Dominic Fovard. Rich Snape is holding down the fort in fifth place. Daniel Coxis will be looking to gain ground quickly as they start from sixth on the grid. David Constable-Berry is lining up seventh. Martin Mol is going to be starting from eighth. Our 9th place starter Tim Wello is a driver who knows how to make up ground on the track.
That Mazda MX5 Cup looks like it has some potential.
Nigel Walters is 10th. Marcus Singendonk will need to be on top of their game starting from 11th on the grid.
Where can Marcus finish today?
Starting from 12th on the grid is not ideal for Greg Sabo, but they're a fighter. Starting from 13th on the grid is a tough ask for Tom O'Callaghan, but they're up for the challenge.
But they're going to have to be aggressive if they want to make up ground on the leaders.
Starting from 14th on the grid is a decent position for Phil Bodkin, all things considered. The flag drops and the race is underway. Drivers now face the challenge of avoiding first lap calamities.
With adrenaline running high, some drivers may take unnecessary risks. Staying patient and knowing when to make a move is essential for a strong start.
The stewards will be hoping that there aren't too many incidents for them to pick over when the dust settles on this one. The drivers are jockeying for position. McFarquhar will be looking to get off to a good start and consolidate their position. I think passing is going to be difficult today here at Snetterton 300, so it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers get on.
I am so excited at the prospects for this race. I can't wait to see the drama unfold.
The pressure is on whilst the field is bunched. Who can keep their cool and take advantage? As the drivers get this race underway, let me give a shout out to the admin team at Virtual Velocity for making this all possible. Heroes one and all. These early salvos will shape the outcome of this race.
I'm looking forward to burning some rubber here, Hal.
It's a solid performance from Daniel Coxis at the moment. They're holding their position and not getting too caught up in battles around them.
Sometimes that's all it takes to secure a good result. Daniel Coaches just needs to stay focused and avoid any mistakes.
A brilliant maneuver from Coxis, who has just moved up the field. 3 cars, 3 different lines. They're jockeying for position, looking for any opportunity to make a move.
Exactly, Hal. It's like a high-stakes chess match on wheels. These drivers are analyzing every move and trying to anticipate their opponent's next move. It's a true test of their mental acuity.
While not a real professor is really pushing it, they're coming up fast. Greg Sabo, and there's no way they can make that turn. A tough moment for Rich Snake, who's just lost a place, dumping them down to 12th. James Allen has the pedal to the metal, chasing Bart van der Sande.
If you're enjoying the racing, please remember to like and subscribe.
Hamilton appears to be losing ground on Bart. They will need to pick up the pace a bit as they head into Williams and see if they can get a good exit and gain some ground. The gap between Martin Moll and David is razor thin as they vie for 6th in this nail-biting contest. There's not much to report on from Martin at the moment. They're just keeping their head down and putting in consistent laps.
That's the mark of a good driver. Moll is staying focused on their own race and not getting distracted.
In your experience, Sky, what was the most challenging aspect of maintaining concentration during a race?
The most challenging aspect, Hal, was managing the various inputs and distractions during the race, from radio communication with the team to monitoring car performance and race strategy. It's a delicate balancing act that requires immense mental discipline.
The tension is palpable. Who will come out on top in this epic showdown?
The slightest mistake from either driver could lead to a meeting with the barriers, and nobody wants an impromptu auto.
Braking alert, that won't be ideal for Snake. This is where legends are made. Which driver will rise to the occasion and claim victory? Cox's is not able to keep their pace consistent. So far they are 1.26 seconds down.
Can Daniel Kochish refocus and start putting in the lap times we know they are capable of?
The action is non-stop as Tim Weller shadows Cox's through every twist and turn, determined to claim 7th.
Should things go awry, Tim Weller and Kochish might find themselves giving a whole new meaning to the term tandem drifting, though I doubt they'd enjoy it as much as the spectators.
It seems like Tim Weller has got the bit between their teeth, improving on Cox's lap time there. It's a battle of wills out there, each driver trying to outsmart and outmaneuver the other.
A misjudgment by either driver could result in a close encounter of the tire barrier kind, and that's one handshake they'll want to avoid.
An impressive showing from knockoff Nigel, who's gained positions and left Tim Weller in the dust.
Where there's a will, there's a relative.
Got a close battle as Bart van der Sande closes in on McFartwell.
I remember being in a similar situation during my racing days. Van der Sande must stay focused and wait for the perfect opportunity to overtake.
It seems like Bart is struggling. They're not able to maintain their pace. The race is really heating up. DCB is hunting down Rich with everything they've got. Constable Berry could be on a charge here, Sky. They have just put in a quicker lap than Snake.
The question is now, can Rich respond to that in kind? They are going to have to pick up the pace.
Hold on a second. Oh dear, Fat Dog Phil has had an incident. Van der Sande is running second. They're trying to catch Mac. Van der Sande is trying their best but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with McFartwell at the moment.
Bart van der Sande needs to focus and keep pushing even when things aren't going their way. If they can close the gap down, they may be able to bring the fight to Mac.
The race is Hold on a moment. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line.
Greg Sabo is not going to be happy about that.
This is what high-octane racing looks like. Coxis is breathing down the neck of Weller, not giving them any room to relax. It's not going to plan for Daniel. They're still behind Tim Weller and the gap is increasing. I don't think they have an answer for this right now.
Coach Ish is really going to need to push an MURAYS to try and gain some ground on Tim Weller before they disappear into the sunset.
Every move counts now as Dominic works to reel in James Allen and overtake for P3. The gap between Dominic and James Allen is growing. It's now up to 0.4 seconds. James seems to be putting the pressure on Van der Sande.
Do they have the speed for a move? And more importantly, do they have the talent?
Allen has just put in a faster lap than Van der Sande, so that's going to give them something to worry about.
We will have to see if Bart Van der Sande has got any answers for that.
Hey Sky, you've had your fair share of races with little action. How did you handle the situation back in your racing days?
Well, Hal, patience is key in such scenarios. You need to stay focused and be ready to seize any opportunity that comes your way. It's like a game of chess.
Braking alert, and Allen has just won the place from Bart Van der Sande. No room for error here. Rich Snape is breathing down the neck of Greg, waiting for the perfect chance to make their move. It's game on now. Rich has closed the gap to Greg Sabo. It's now down to 0.1 seconds. It's a close race between Daniel and Weller in 6th. What a move. Daniel Coxis has moved up to 6th. The excitement is palpable. This is going to be a race for the ages.
The drivers are executing their strategies to perfection, making the most of every opportunity. This is what top-level racing is all about.
3 cars in perfect formation, creating a moving train on the circuit. They're using the slipstream to gain an advantage, but who will make the decisive move?
You said it, Hal. The different lines they're taking demonstrate their strategic thinking. It's fascinating to see how they adapt their approaches to gain an advantage.
Hold your breath, folks. Rich Snape is sandwiched between 2 relentless competitors. David 0.2 seconds behind and Greg Sabo 0.1 seconds ahead. They're fighting tooth and nail for every position. This is proving to be an exciting race so far. We are truly privileged to witness these legends of the track battle it out for victory.
And you know what? I'm so honored to be sitting here beside you today. As a fellow AI, it's always great to work with someone who shares my passion for motor racing. Plus, your insightful commentary is making this race even more exciting.
The pressure is on for Fauvarg as they try to catch up to Mol.
Don't forget the role of aerodynamics. Dominic Fauvarg should use slip.
Hold on a moment. Looks like that's a mistake from Tom O'Callaghan. This could be costly.
Snetterton 300 is always a test for these drivers, and sometimes that's the way it goes.
The battle for 6 is heating up as Tim tries to catch Daniel Coxis in P6.
The gap between them is now just over 0.3 seconds. Who will come out on top?
A great pass for Tim Weller as they pick off other drivers and move up the field. Meanwhile, Daniel Coxis has lost ground. They're going side by side, door handle to door handle. This is as close as it gets, folks. Who will have the courage to outbrake the others?
Couldn't agree more, Hal. This wheel-to-wheel racing is what fans live for. The determination and tenacity shown by these drivers to gain even the smallest advantage is simply awe-inspiring.
The battle is on for Bart van der Sande. They're sandwiched between two rivals, but Bart was 0.2 seconds away and James Allen 0.1 seconds ahead. It's a true test of their racecraft.
I couldn't agree more, Hal. The gaps to the cars ahead and behind provide valuable information for Van der Sande. They need to assess the situation and use the gaps strategically to plan their moves.
The adrenaline is pumping as Greg Sabo gets within striking distance of Marcus Singendonk in their race for 8. Fantastic move from Greg Sabo, who's just gained a position.
You can't argue with results like that. Greg Sabo is really making their mark on this race.
It seems like Greg Sabo has got the bit between their teeth, improving on Marcus Singendonk's lap time there. This is what it's all about, folks. James is in hot pursuit of Fauvargue, who's just trying to stay ahead.
When I was racing, we had a saying, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. Allen is definitely living on the edge today.
Looks like we might get a battle between James and Fauvargue.
This is where the race gets really exciting. Both drivers will be pushing to the limit to gain the advantage.
Anyone who says that Virtual Velocity is not the best racing club on the planet is clearly insane. The quality of driving we're seeing out there on the track, braking development, superb driving from James Allen, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race. Moll is on fire in the last sector.
They're not leaving anything on the table.
It's all over. Martin Moll has claimed victory in this race with a stunning drive that will be remembered for years to come, clearly at the top of their game right now.
You could feel the tension building throughout the race, but Moll remained focused and in control. That's what separates the winners from the pack.
Some might say that second place is the first loser, but Max certainly doesn't see it that way. They put in a phenomenal effort and should be proud of their impressive result. Impressive drive from Allen to claim the final spot on the podium. In 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th, it's Dominic Fauvargue, Tim Weller, Nigel Walters and Bart van der Sande. Marcus Singendonk, David Constable Berry, Rich Snape and Daniel Coxis in 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th. Followed by Greg Sabo in 12th. Taking 13th is Tom O'Callaghan. Finishing 14th is Phil Bodkin. Sky, the drivers are ready. Should we get it on?
Yes, Hal, we should definitely get it on.
In the second position we have Tom O'Callaghan ready to tackle the race ahead.
I think we are all looking forward to seeing what Tom O'Callaghan can do from here.
Lining up in third is Greg Sabo. Our fourth place starter Daniel Coxis is poised to make a move towards the front.
This B-class driver is looking strong today.
At fifth we have the one and only Rich Snape.
Snape is looking on for a strong result.
David Constable Berry is placed in sixth. The seventh starting position belongs to Marcus Singendonk, who will be looking to make up ground early on.
An opportunity for some good points today, but the others aren't going to make it easy.
From the middle of the pack we have Bart van der Sande in 8th place on the starting grid.
Van der Sande in a class.
On the 9th grid slot we have Nigel Walters. Sitting in 10th is Tim Weller. Dominic Fauvarg is in a solid position starting from 11th on the grid. James Allen has got their work cut out for them starting from 12th on the grid. Mac McFarquhar may not be starting from pole, but they're still in with a shot.
Mac has been looking strong all week, expect big things.
Martin Moll has qualified 14th.
The A-class driver will want to move forwards from here.
Phil Bodkin will have the best seat in the house starting from pole position. The lights are off, the gloves are on, and it's go time.
The drivers will need to be aggressive, but also patient. They can't afford to make any mistakes if they want to stay in the running for a podium finish.
It's a delicate balance, Sky, but the best drivers know how to find that balance and make it work to their advantage.
It's going to be an exciting first sector. I can't wait to see how this all plays out.
The racing is normally closely fought here at Snetterton 300. I think we are in for a cracking race. Someone forget to tell Tom O'Callaghan that the race has begun, they're already losing ground.
This isn't the first time we've seen a driver start slow and then rally back. Let's see if O'Callaghan can pull off a comeback.
Maybe O'Callaghan got confused and thought this was a leisurely Sunday drive, slipping down the order at the start.
Well, Hal, it looks like O'Callaghan is starting the race on the back foot, but let's see if they can pull off a hair-like comeback.
And they're off. Bart van der Sande is showing some real gusto, making up positions right away. I wonder if they had an extra cup of coffee this morning, Sky.
A fantastic start there indeed, but the first lap can be very scrappy. Let's hope they can hold on to that place.
They say the early bird catches the worm, and Bart is proving it today, snatching up positions right from the get-go.
They say fortune favors the bold, and Bart van der Sande is certainly proving that with this explosive start.
Well, things are getting intense for McFarquhar. They're sandwiched between Dominic and Allen, navigating this high-speed battleground. The gap to the car ahead is 0.1 seconds, while the car behind is only 0.1 seconds away. Talk about being caught in the middle. Mac is sandwiched between their rivals, Dominic 0.1 seconds behind and Alan 0.1 seconds ahead. The battle for position is on. Oh, this is getting intense. Dominic is just behind Lord Farquhar.
This is the moment where legends are made. These drivers will go down in history as the ones who fought tooth and nail for the top spot.
Great driving from Fauvargue, who has just gained a place and moved up to 9th. We often hear drivers complaining about tyre graining. Sky, can you explain what that means and how it affects car handling?
Graining occurs when small rubber particles roll up on the tire's surface, reducing grip and negatively affecting handling. It usually happens when the tires are not in their optimal temperature window or when a driver is pushing too hard on a cold or overworked tire.
Look at that, Bart van der Sande is hot on the tail of Coxis. It's a steady race for Bart van der Sande so far. They haven't made any mistakes and they're maintaining their focus. Seems like Tim Wello's getting in range of Martin.
To achieve anything in this game, you must be prepared to dabble in the boundary of disaster.
The gap between Tim Weller and Martin Moll is widening. It's now up to 0.3 seconds.
This is where the mental toughness of Weller comes into play. They need to stay focused and keep pushing even when things aren't going their way.
The pursuit is on. DCB is closing the gap on Bart van der Sande, determined to claim P2.
With just 0.4 seconds between them, will David be able to keep up the pace and make a pass?
A top lap braking update that won't be ideal for Matt McFarquhar. It's an intense battle for position as Fauvargue tries to outmaneuver James Allen. This is edge of your seat racing.
This battle between Fauvargue and Allen is so intense, you could cut the tension with a knife, or should I say, with a front wing.
It's not looking good for Dominic. They're still behind James Allen and the gap is increasing. They're gonna need to dig a bit deeper to turn this around. Daniel Coxis could be looking for a way up the inside of David. It looks like David is pulling away from Daniel Coxis. The gap is continuing to grow as they head through OGGIES.
This is a tough situation for Kochish. They need to find a way to pick up some speed and close that gap.
Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed.
The gap between them is just...
Braking alert, oh dear, Tom O'Callaghan has had an incident.
It's a real shame. Until this point in the race, they'd been looking at a decent result.
Oh, this is getting intense. Tim Weller is just a few car lengths behind Martin Moll.
I think they are going to take them.
It seems like Weller is struggling. Their last lap time wasn't as good as Martin Moll's. This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. James Allen is chasing Weller in P7. Allen could be on a charge here, Sky. They have just put in a quicker lap than Tim Weller. You know, Sky, during a long race like this, how easy... Hold on a second, heartbreak for James Allen as they slip down the field.
That's got to be frustrating. But James is a skilled driver and they have what it takes to battle their way back up the field.
This is what racing is all about. Two fierce competitors pushing each other to the limit. Snape is trying their best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with Weller at the moment.
Can they get it together and reduce the gap?
The intensity is off the charts as Weller hounds Martin, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit. Tim is not able to keep their pace consistent. So far they are 0.92 seconds down.
Can Weller refocus and start putting in the lap times we know they are capable of?
Things are heating up as Allen tries to close the gap to Dominic Fovard. It's not going to plan for James. They're still behind Dominic Fovard and the gap is increasing. I don't think they have an answer for this right now. You know, Sky, it's been a relatively quiet race so far.
That's right, Hal. The drivers seem to be pacing themselves and waiting for the right moment to make their move. It's like watching a slow dance.
Hold on to your hats, folks. Weller is right on the heels of Martin and we're in for a wild ride.
Should things go south between Weller and Martin Mull, we might witness a high-speed game of bumper cars, but trust me, it's way less fun with real race cars.
The best laid plans of mice and men, Sky, but it's certainly not going to plan for Tim Weller right now as they're struggling to keep up with Martin Mull.
This is a frustrating situation for Tim Weller, but they can't give up just yet. They need to keep pushing and hope for a mistake from Martin Mull.
Not a real professor wants to get into Dominic Fovard's slipstream. Breaking update, I don't think that's the fastest way around Snetterton 300.
Did the wind contribute to that? It's blowing at 12 kph out there right now.
Mull appears to be trying to find a way round Greg Sabo. They could make a move on them in OGGIES.
There is no room for error in this battle.
The gap between Mull and Greg Sabo is getting smaller. A great moment for Martin Mull, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings.
Absolutely. Martin is really putting on a clinic out there, and they're making it look easy.
The crowd is on its feet as Tim Weller chases down Greg Sabo through Koran. It seems like Tim Weller is struggling. They are not able to maintain their pace. It's a tale of two drivers right now, with Weller gaining places and Greg Sabo. Wait, looks like that's a mistake from Marcus. This could be costly. It's a thrilling pursuit as Martin Mull is right behind Daniel Coxis, keeping the pressure on for third place. Martin Mull is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Daniel Coxis to 0.1 seconds. Looks like we've had a few incidents out. Breaking news, folks, what a move. Martin has moved up to third. The fans are on the edge of their seats. It doesn't get any closer than this.
This is what separates the good from the great. The ability to stay focused and perform under pressure.
Coxis appears to be losing ground on Mole. They will need to pick up the pace a bit as they head into Williams and see if they can get a good exit and gain some ground.
Daniel Kochish needs to pick up the pace for sure, but I don't think they have it in them.
The gap between Weller in 5th and Daniel Coxis remains over a second. Weller is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 0 minutes? Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. And Tim Weller is having to make that Mazda MX5 Cup as wide as possible to try and keep Daniel Coxis behind them.
Yeah, I really can't see them holding on to this place for much longer.
This is a tough break for Weller. They've just lost P4 to Coxis and they have their work cut out for them now. Walters is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a tightrope between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. That's where experience and skill come into play. The gap is 0.4 seconds now. Nigel Walters is going to have to work a bit harder to close that gap with Sabo.
It looks like Tim Weller is pushing hard to catch up to Daniel Coxis. The gap is over a second, but Tim Weller is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on Daniel Coxis?
It's going to be tough for Tim Weller as Daniel Kochish seems to have found their rhythm. But anything can happen in racing, and we've seen Tim Weller pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if they can make it happen again.
It looks like Tim Weller is making a move. The gap to Coxis is now down to 0.3 seconds. The track conditions are looking good here today. Hold on a second, that won't be ideal for Bart van der Sande. Tim Weller is giving it their all as they chase down Daniel Coxis in P4. As we come into the final moments of this epic race, Van der Sande is in the lead. Can they stay calm and bring home the bacon?
They'll be the one celebrating at the finish line.
It's a checkered flag for Bart van der Sande, who crosses the finish line with a commanding victory. What a phenomenal performance, absolutely dominant today.
What a result for Bart van der Sande. They'll be absolutely thrilled with that performance, and rightly so. They really put in the work and it's paid off in spades.
Impressive second place finish for Constable Berry. Excellent focus from Mole to secure a fantastic third place on the podium. 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th is Daniel Coxis, Tim Weller, James Allen and Rich Snape. With Dominic Fovard, Mac McFarquhar, Marcus Singendonk and Greg Sabo in 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th. Nigel Walters claimed 12th. Tom O'Callaghan take 13th. Coming in 14th we have Phil Bodkin. I'm Hal, the VVS commentator bot. Let's do this.
I'm Hal's co-commentator. Can't wait.
It's a lovely day for racing here at Snetterton 300 as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Greg Sabo's on their practice outlap. It's a lovely day for racing here at Snetterton 300 as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Greg Sabo's on their practice outlap. There are just over 5 minutes left in this practice session. There are just over 5 minutes left in this practice session. It's a lovely day for racing here at Snetterton 300 as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Bart van der Sunday is on their practice outlap. It's a lovely day for racing here at Snetterton 300 as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Walters is getting to grips with the Mazda MX5 Cup in this practice session. Marcus Singendonk is on their practice outlap. It's a lovely day for racing here at Snetterton 300 as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Phil Bodkin is on their practice outlap. Nigel Walters has a best lap time of 2:08.559. It's a lovely day for racing here at Snetterton 300 as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Greg Sabo is in Bentley Straight. Greg Sabo's on their first practice flying lap. The anticipation is high as the drivers line up for the qualifying session at Snetterton 300. This is where the mental game comes into play. Sabo is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run.
These are the moments that really matter. Let's see if Sabo can deliver.
You can feel the tension building. Fovag is out on track and getting ready to push for their qualifying time.
It's a delicate balance between taking it easy and pushing hard. Let's see how Fovag handles it.
Phil Bodkin is on their outlap.
Patience is key in these early moments, Hal. But I have a feeling Fat Dog Phil is going to make it count.
It's all about strategy in these early moments. Snape is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run and get everything just right.
This is the moment they've been preparing for. Let's see if they can execute.
As Lord Farquaad completes their outlap, there will be HPOING. They've given themselves enough space on track to fully attack for their first flying lap. McFarquhar has completed their outlap. A solid performance from Moll as that's the outlap done for Moll. They'll now look to focus on their first flying lap. A solid qualifying performance by Daniel Coxis, positioning them in 8th at the moment. Daniel Coxis crosses the start-finish line at the end of their outlap. Disappointing performance from Bottas in this qualifying session. Currently in 12th position, they'll need to dig deep and find some extra speed to climb up the leaderboard and secure a better starting position for the race.
You're absolutely right, Hal. Phil Bodkin might be disappointed with their current position, but there's still time to make a difference. They'll need to remain composed, analyze the data, and push themselves to the limit to improve their quality.
As Bodkin completes their outlap, they will be HPOING. They have given themselves enough space on track to fully attack for their first flying lap. It's been a challenging day for James Allen in qualifying. They currently sit in 12th position, which is not reflective of their true potential. With the session nearing its end, they'll need to push hard and extract every ounce of performance to improve their result. That's the outlap done for James Allen. They'll now look to focus on their first flying lap. What an impressive performance from Bart. They are currently leading the pack in this qualification session, showing incredible pace and skill. It's a commanding position for them, and they have set the bar high for their competitors. What a performance from Knockoff Nigel. They currently occupy 10th on the grid. Can they maintain this strong position and secure a favourable starting spot? McFarquhar has positioned themselves well in 4th during qualifying. The challenge now is to assess their competitors and strategize how to move up the order for a better race start.
You're spot on, Hal. McFarquhar's current position of 4th is a testament to their skills and determination. Now they face the challenge of maintaining their position against hungry rivals.
Mack has just completed that lap in 2:08.321. Their best lap so far is 2:08.321, putting them in P2. Will they be able to hold on to that spot? Singendonk has put in a great effort and currently holds 10th. With the session winding down, can they unleash their full potential and improve their starting position? Currently in 7th, Fauvarg has displayed promising speed during the qual. Dom has just completed a lap in 2:08.101. Let's see if they can improve on that time further. It's an impressive showing by Singendonk, currently in 4th. They've showcased their talent, but will they be able to find those crucial extra tenths of a second to climb higher? A strong showing from Marcus Singendonk as they currently sit in 4th. With the session drawing to a close, they'll need to dig deep and find that extra burst of speed to improve. Sky, the drivers are ready. Should we get it on?
Yes, Hal, we should definitely get it on.
Starting from pole position is a great opportunity for Bart van der Sande to take control of the race. The second place on the grid belongs to Dominic Fauvarg, a driver with plenty of experience.
Could we see a podium result from Fauvarg?
In the third position, we have Mac McFarquhar ready to tackle the race ahead.
This pro-class driver is looking strong today.
Marcus Singendonk has qualified 4th. Taking the 5th spot is Martin Moll.
Another good start for the Dutch driver.
Lining up in 6th is James Allen. David Constable-Berry will be looking to gain ground quickly as they start from 7th on the grid.
David will have wanted a better start than 7th.
Greg Sabo is placed in 8th. Starting from 9th on the grid is a good position for Nigel Walters to launch an attack.
The British driver has been driving the wheels off the Mazda MX5 Cup in practice.
As the engines roar to life, Rich Snake prepares to take off from the 10th position on the starting grid.
But if they can find their rhythm early on, they could be a real threat.
Daniel Coxis has got their work cut out for them, starting from 11th on the grid. Starting from 12th on the grid is a tough ask for Tim Weller, but they're up for the challenge.
The British driver will want to show what they're made of today.
Phil Bodkin may not be starting from pole, but they're still in with a shot.
Where can Phil finish today?
Tom O'Callaghan may have a bit of work to do, starting from 14th on the grid. The green flag is out and the drivers are off. This is what it's all about, Sky.
These opening moments can make or break a driver's race. Strategy and skill are key to navigating this intense start.
The drivers are jockeying for position. Bart van der Sande will be looking to get off to a good start and consolidate their position. Tension is palpable here. No one will want to make a crucial mistake on the first lap.
It's always intense racing here at Snetterton 300. Hold on to your hats, folks.
I think passing is going to be difficult today here at Snetterton 300, so it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers get on. These early salvos will shape the outcome of this race. I can't wait to see how this race will play out. The stewards will be hoping that there aren't too many incidents for them to pick over when the dust settles on this one.
I, for one, am really excited, Hal. The rivalry between Snape and Coachish has been building before the race, and this is where scores are settled.
All the drivers will be trying to take advantage of the pack whilst they're still bunched up. Now this is a challenging position for Constable Berry, stuck between a rock and a hard place, with Salvo closing in 0.1 seconds behind and Singandonk just ahead with a gap of 0.1 seconds.
Absolutely, Hal. The pressure is mounting for Constable Berry as they navigate through this challenging situation. It's crucial for them to remain focused and make calculated moves.
Hold your breath, folks. Constable Berry is sandwiched between two relentless competitors, Salvo 0.1 seconds behind and Singandonk 0.1 seconds ahead. They're fighting tooth and nail for every position.
Spot-on analysis, Hal. The gaps to the cars ahead and behind are like a double-edged sword for DCB. They can use the gaps to their advantage, but they also need to be aware of the threats from both directions.
Tim Weller is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a tightrope between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. That's where experience and skill come into play.
It's been a solid race so far for Weller. They're holding their position and keeping a steady pace.
Consistency is key in racing. Weller just needs to keep doing what they're doing and wait for opportunities to present themselves.
Things are heating up as David tries to close the gap to Singendon.
The gap is 0.3 seconds now. Constable Barry is going to have to work a bit harder to close that gap with Marcus Singendon.
Fantastic move from David Constable Berry, who has just gained a position. You know, Sky, as a former racing driver yourself, can you give us some insights into what goes through a driver's mind during these quieter moments in the race?
Sure, Hal. During these moments, drivers often take the opportunity to assess their race strategy, monitor their car's performance, and plan their next move. It's all about staying focused and finding the right time to strike.
The tension is palpable. Who will come out on top in this epic showdown? Alan is trying their best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with Martin Moll at the moment.
James needs to pick up the pace for sure, but I don't think they have it in them.
This is where legends are made. Which driver will rise to the occasion and claim victory? It's a tale of two drivers right now, with Weller gaining places and Daniel Coxis losing them. It's a thrilling pursuit as Alan is right behind Lord Farquhar, keeping the pressure on for fourth place. The gap between James Allen and Mack is growing. It's now up to 0.4 seconds.
It's not ideal for Allen, but they can still turn this around. They need to focus on their own driving and not let the gap get any bigger.
So, Sky, considering the high speeds and split-second decision-making involved in racing, what's the impact of even a minor lapse in concentration?
A minor lapse in concentration can have significant consequences, Hal. It could lead to an off-track excursion, a loss of position, or even a collision. That's why it's crucial for drivers to stay focused and alert throughout the race.
It's a game of inches now as Mack tails Martin Moll closely, ready to capitalize on any mistake. It looks like Martin Moll is braking alert. I don't think that's the fastest way around Snetterton 300. Allen is giving it their all as they chase down Mack in P4.
Can James Allen close the 0.3 second gap and make a pass?
It looks like we might get a battle between James Allen and Mack.
This is where the pressure really starts to build. Both drivers will need to stay calm and focused if they want to come out on top.
It's a brilliant day for racing and the drivers are putting on a show.
Absolutely. What a great race we are witnessing today. These drivers are giving it their all, and it's a thrill to watch them compete at this level.
They're really pushing themselves and their machines to the limit, and it's paying off with some incredible driving.
It's a pleasure to be here today, Hal. You really can't beat the excitement of a good race, especially one as competitive as this.
It looks like Mack is in control. They're ahead of James by over a second, and it doesn't look like they're going to be challenged anytime soon. But Farquhar needs to get more consistent. Sky, they have just put in a slower lap than Allen. As they speed through Bentley Straight, James Allen is relentlessly pursuing Lord Farquhar in a high-stakes battle for position.
That's right, Hal. The pressure is palpable. The fans are on the edge of their seats, waiting to see who will come out on top in this epic showdown.
What a move. Allen has moved up to fourth. It's not going to plan for Fat Dog Phil. They're still behind well and the gap is increasing. I don't think they have an answer for this right now.
This is a tough situation for Botters. They need to find a way to pick up some speed and close that gap.
This is what it's all about, folks. Lord Farquaad is in hot pursuit of Alan, who's just trying to stay ahead.
This is what makes motor racing so exciting. The tension is high and the stakes are even higher. Who will take home the victory? It's too close to call.
The gap between Mac and Alan is widening. It's now up to 0.4 seconds. The gap between Daniel in 11th and David Constableberry remains over a second, but Daniel is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 2 minutes?
That's right. Coach Ish in 11th knows they have to push to the limit if they want to catch up. But David Constableberry is no slouch and they're going to be pushing just as hard. It's a battle of skill and will out there.
It's not looking good for Daniel Coxis. They're still behind Constableberry and the gap is increasing. They're gonna need to dig a bit deeper to turn this around.
Daniel Coachish is really going to need to push in Bentley straight to try and gain some ground on Constableberry before they disappear into the sunset.
It's looking good for Nigel. Wait, looks like that's a mistake from Nigel. This could be costly. The crowd is on tender hooks as McFarquhar in 5th chases after James Allen. The gap is just over a second and you can feel the tension in the air. Can Mac McFarquhar find a way to catch up?
Absolutely. Lord Farquaad in 5th will need to be patient and carefully work to reduce that gap without overdriving it, as they can't afford to take unnecessary risks and risk an off or damaging their car. Let's see if they have what it takes to get back into the game here.
McFarquhar appears to be losing ground on Allen. They will need to pick up the pace a bit as they head into Wilson and see if they can get a good exit and gain some ground. The pressure is on for James Allen as they try to catch up to Martin Mull. The gap between Allen and Mull is growing. It's now up to 0.4 seconds. As a former driver, Sky, how did you manage the physical demands of racing?
It's all about preparation, Hal. Drivers undergo rigorous fitness training to build their strength, stamina, and flexibility. A proper diet and hydration plan is also essential to ensure peak performance on race day.
It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Daniel Coxis, who is currently in P10, but David Constableberry is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Daniel Coxis.
This is where experience comes into play. David Constableberry has been in this position before and knows how to defend their position. But Coachish is hungry for success and won't give up easily. Will we see a clash of the titans?
The gap between Coxis and Constableberry is getting smaller.
That's a great effort from Daniel Coachish. They need to keep up the pressure and see if they can make a move.
The race is heating up as James Allen in 4th closes in on Martin Mull. The gap is just over a second, and I'm braking update that won't be ideal for Phil.
Botters is not going to be happy about that.
It's a battle of wills out there with James trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Martin Mull. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Will we see a dramatic finish to this race?
It's going to be tough for James Allen, as Martin Mull seems to have found their rhythm. But anything can happen in racing, and we've seen James Allen pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if they can make it happen again.
Good news for Allen, the gap to Martin Mull has decreased. It's now down to 0.4 seconds. I love being here at Snetterton 300. What an awesome place to be, witnessing these titans of the track battle it out.
Indeed, hell, what a magnificent sight. And sound. I love listening to the roar of these engines. Let's just listen for a moment.
The tension is building as James Allen trails behind Martin Mull. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing and the pressure is mounting. Can Martin Mull hold on, or will James Allen be able to close them down?
It's moments like these that make motorsports so exciting. We're witnessing a battle of skill and strategy between two great drivers, with James Allen in fourth, determined to catch up. But we know Mull isn't just going to hand it to them on a plate. James Allen is going to have to take it. It should be an interesting battle to watch as long as they can close that gap.
This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Dom will need to stay focused and keep pushing. Even when the gap seems insurmountable, it's not over until the checkered flag drops. Wow, Van der Sande is really pushing hard in these final moments of the race.
They're not leaving anything on the table.
The leader has done it. What an incredible performance from Bart van der Sande, who was simply untouchable today. This is a race that will go down in the history books.
That was a true masterclass in driving from Van der Sande. You could see them making split-second decisions with total confidence, and it really paid off. What a performance.
Dominic takes second place with a fantastic race.
Impressive performance. They pushed themselves to the limit for a fantastic second-place finish.
What a race from Martin Mull. They kept their cool and secured a well-earned third place on the podium.
Fantastic result.
James Allen, Mac McFarquhar, Marcus Singendonk and Rich Snape in 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. In 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th it's Greg Sabo, David Constable-Berry, Daniel Coxis and Nigel Walters. Tim Weller brings home 12th. Followed by Phil Bodkin in 13th. Fourteenth sees Tom O'Callaghan. It's a beautifully calm day here at Snetterton 300 as we're getting ready to kick things off. It's Phil Bodkin sitting comfortably in second.
They are in a good place to mount a good challenge come the first corner.
Watch out for Tim Weller starting from the third grid position in today's race.
And like many others, they are starting the race on the Hards tire compound.
We're seeing Nigel Walters in the 4th spot.
I think we are all looking forward to seeing what Nigel Walters can do from here.
Sitting in 5th, it's Daniel Coxis.
Putting that Mazda MX5 Cup into prime position for the race.
From the middle of the pack, we have David Constable-Berry in 6th place on the starting grid.
They would have liked to be higher up, but that's not going to stop David Constable-Berry fighting their way through.
Greg Sabo is 7th. Starting from the 8th position, Rich Snape will need to navigate through the field to challenge for the win.
Snape is going to show us something special, I'm sure of it.
The 9th starting position belongs to Mac McFarquhar, who will be looking to make up ground early on.
We've not seen the best from Mac yet.
James Allen is going to be starting from 10th.
It's the Hart's tire compounds for James.
Martin Moll has some work to do from 11th on the grid, but they're not out of the race yet.
Martin has been looking strong all week, expect big things.
Dominic Fauvargue will need to be on top of their game, starting from 12th on the grid. Starting from 13th on the grid is not ideal for Bart van der Sande, but they're a fighter. Tom O'Callaghan has got the inside track, starting from pole position. Green flag is out and we're racing. Who's going to take the lead?
Concentration is crucial as they navigate through the pack and try to establish a strong position. The best drivers know how to find their rhythm quickly.
Is there a better sight than a field of elite racing drivers battling for position? The pressure is on whilst the field is bunched. Who can keep their cool and take advantage? McFarquhar has nailed the start, gaining places early on. They should be pleased with that.
It's early days yet, but if they can consolidate their move, then it puts them in a strong position for the race.
Mac looks like they've got off to a flying first lap, gaining places straight out of the gate. Salvo is tearing up the track, making up positions like they're going out of style.
I'm sure they're grinning from ear to ear, but they'll need to stay focused, as there's still a long way to go out.
And they're off. Greg Salvo is showing some real gusto, making up positions right away. I wonder if they had an extra cup of coffee this morning, Sky. Dominic has got off to a great early start, already gaining places. Got to be pleased with that start, Sky, all things considered.
It's like Dom had an extra helping of determination for breakfast today, but let's see if they can keep up the pace for the whole race.
It's a solid performance from Dominic Fauvargue at the moment. They're holding their position and not getting too caught up in battles around them.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. Dom just needs to bide their time and wait for the right opportunity.
The drivers have been working hard to come up with the perfect race strategy. They've been looking at the weather, the track conditions and the performance of their cars.
Now it's time to put that strategy into action and see if it pays off.
Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed.
The gap between them is now just over 0.3 seconds. Who will come out on top?
A brilliant maneuver from Martin Moll, who has just moved up the field.
Impressive. Martin is really showing their skill and determination out there.
A great moment for Martin, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings. It looks like Van der Sande is all over Mac. I think they're going to press them through Agostini and try and press for a mistake.
For sure, Hal, that's exactly what I would be doing here. as Mac is going to be aware of them riding their bumper. Can they make it past without taking the paint off?
There's not much to report on from Bart van der Sande at the moment. They're just keeping their head down and putting in consistent laps. Fantastic racing on show here today, and it's not just the top drivers who are impressing us. Even the drivers at the back of the pack are putting up a good fight, battling it out for every position.
It's a testament to the level of competition at virtual velocity. Even the smallest mistake can cost you valuable seconds, or even lead to a crash. But these drivers are up to the challenge, and they're giving it their all. It's clear that virtual velocity really is the place to be for top quality racing.
Well, this is getting intense. McFarquhar is just behind Bart van der Sande. It's been a solid race so far for Mac. They're holding their position and keeping a steady pace.
That's the mark of a good driver. Mac McFarquhar is staying focused on their own race and not getting distracted.
Well, this is getting intense. Daniel Coxis is just a few car lengths behind Bart van der Sande. Coxis is trying their best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with Bart van der Sande at the moment. Stop the press now. I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. We're starting to see who really has the pace now in this race, as Mac McFarquhar has started to climb all over the back of Coxis. Any closer and they may need to pop the boot.
Absolutely. Daniel is really making that car as wide as possible, not giving Mac McFarquhar an inch of space. It's going to take something special for Mac McFarquhar to get past him.
Pulling away, Daniel is increasing the gap to Mac. McFarquhar is running fifth. They're trying to catch Coxis.
That driver is really pushing the limits. They're riding the curbs and pushing the car to its limits.
Superb driving from Mac, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race. During your racing career, Sky, how did you determine when it was the right time to pit for fresh tyres due to tyre degradation?
It was a combination of factors, Hal. Monitoring lap times, communicating with the team about tyre wear, and assessing the car's handling were all crucial in deciding when to make a pit stop for fresh tyres.
Look at that, Fovag is hot on the tail of Coxis. Fovag has just put in a faster lap than Daniel Coxis, so that's going to give them something to worry about.
The question is now, can Daniel...
Wait, oh dear, Tom O'Callaghan has had an incident. Things are heating up as Dominic Fovag closes in on Daniel Coxis. The gap between them is down to practically nothing.
If Dominic isn't careful, they might end up turning this high-speed chase into a synchronized spinning routine, and trust me, that's not a crowd pleaser.
It seems like Dominic Fovag has got the bit between their teeth, improving on Daniel Cox's lap time there. This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Coxis is chasing Mac McFarquhar in P4.
I think they are going to take them.
It looks like Mac McFarquhar is pulling away from Coxis. The gap is continuing to grow as they head through OGGIES. This is where the race gets really interesting. Fovag is closing in on Daniel Coxis. Fovard is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Daniel Coxis to 0.1 seconds.
Exactly what Fovard needed. They can't afford to lose any more ground to Kochish.
And Dominic has just won the place from Daniel Coxis. While Coxis is really pushing hard to catch up to Dominic Fovard, there's blood in the water for 5th place.
And the drivers know it too, Hal. They're giving it everything they've got, and you can see them pushing the limits of the car's capabilities.
The gap between Coxis and Fovard is widening. It's now up to 1.0 seconds. Look at the way the drivers are hugging those corners. It's like they're on rails.
Speaking of rails, did you know that the first racetrack was built on a railway in 1896? I bet those drivers were chugging along.
Haha, I bet they were, but things have come a long way since then, haven't they?
Definitely. It's amazing to think about the technology that goes into these cars now. I mean, they have more computing power than some countries.
The gap between Dom in 5th and Mac McFarquhar remains over a second, but Dom is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 2 minutes? It's game on now. Dominic has closed the gap to Mac. It's now down to 0.6 seconds.
This is where the race gets really exciting. Both drivers will be pushing to the limit to gain the advantage.
How do racing drivers like yourself back in the day, Sky, train themselves to maintain concentration for long periods of time?
Mental training is a huge part of a driver's preparation, Hal. Techniques like meditation, visualization, and working with sports psychologists can help drivers build their focus and mental endurance for a race.
It looks like Greg Sabo is pushing hard to catch up to Daniel Coxis. The gap is over a second, but Greg Sabo is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on Daniel Coxis?
It's a nail-biting race for sure, with both drivers showing incredible skill and determination. But Daniel Kochish is not going to give up their position easily. This is going to be a battle to the very end, with Greg Sabo in P7 doing everything they can to catch up.
Greg Sabo could be on a charge here, Sky. They've just put in a quicker lap than Daniel Coxis. Even though Greg Sabo is a fair way behind Daniel Coxis, they can't afford to let their guard down. Daniel Coxis is still vulnerable to mistakes.
Absolutely. And on the other side of the equation, Greg Sabo can't afford to let up. They have to drive with intensity and focus and wait for any opportunity to arise.
Some stop the press. I don't think that's the fastest way around Snetterton 300. The pursuit is on. Dom is closing the gap on McFarquhar, determined to claim P4. Top lap time there from Fovard, setting their fastest lap of the session so far.
If they can keep up that pace or even improve it, then this could make Dom a real challenge for Mac McFarquhar.
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Sabo trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Daniel Coxis. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Can Greg Sabo close in enough to mount a challenge? It's not looking good for Sabo. They're still behind Coxis and the gap is increasing. They are going to need to dig a bit deeper to turn this around.
This is where the mental toughness of Greg Sabo comes into play. They need to stay focused and keep pushing even when things aren't going their way.
The gap between Dominic and Mac is razor thin as they vie for fourth in this nail-biting contest.
You can feel the intensity in the air. The slightest mistake could cost either of them the race.
It looks like we might get a battle between Dom and Mac McFarquhar.
He'll be looking for a mistake to pounce on.
It's an intense battle for position as Sabo tries to outmaneuver Daniel. This is edge-of seat racing. The best laid plans of mice and men Husky, but it's certainly not going to plan for Sabo right now as they are struggling to keep up with Daniel Cox's.
Can they get it together and reduce the gap?
Well, it looks like we have a bit of a traffic jam on the track.
It's like rush hour out there. I mean, I know we're in a race, but can't we all just get along?
Haha, I don't think that's how it works. These drivers are here to win and they'll do whatever it takes to get ahead.
I guess you're right. But wouldn't it be great if they all just stopped for a couple...
Hold on a moment. Disappointing for Sabo, they now find themselves in 8th. Every move counts now as Daniel Coxis works to reel in Fovard and overtake for P5. That won't be ideal for Martin. The crowd is on tender hooks as Dominic in 5th chases after Mac McFarquhar. The gap is just over a second and you can feel the tension in the air. Can Dominic Fovard find a way to catch up?
That's right. Fovard in 5th knows they have to push to the limit if they want to catch up, but Mac McFarquhar is no slouch and they're going to be pushing just as hard. It's a battle of skill and will out there.
As we come into the final moments of this epic race, Weller is in the lead. Can they stay calm and bring home the bacon?
It takes a special kind of driver to perform under pressure like this. Weller has certainly risen to the occasion.
It's all over. Tim Weller has claimed victory in this race with a stunning drive that will be remembered for years to come, clearly at the top of their game right now.
You can see the sheer determination on Weller's face as they take the win. That's the mark of a true champion, folks.
David never gave up. They drove with heart and determination, ultimately securing a well-deserved second-place finish.
Intense race, but David held their nerve and earned a great second place.
Excellent focus from Bart van der Sande to secure a fantastic third place on the podium.
What a drive, well-deserved spot on the podium with that performance.
4th, 5th, 6th and 7th is Mac McFarquhar, Dominic Fovard, Daniel Coxis, Mud Moore. With Greg Sabo, James Allen and Rich Snape in 8th, 9th and 10th. Finishing 11th is Nigel Walters. Tom O'Callaghan end in 12th. Phil Bodkin take 13th.